host Kenny, and here with me today is...
I am Taylor, and here with me is...
I've got my mic the right way. I am Tony, and I'm here pushing all the buttons.
And Ian is not here because he actually has to be responsible.
Yeah, that dude's got work.
Responsibilities.
I almost said for the first time in his
The
life
only thing
that I think he would come
responsibilities
after
of
me
his
for
followers
that.
for spending lots of money on trading cards.
Who in this table would ever do that?
Just take Tosh.
That's what he said.
I've spent over $500 for the last month on trading cards.
Oh my god.
I have hobbies.
Very expensive hobbies.
They're not that expensive. I make them expensive. Some of these cards are only a cent. Okay?
Or only a cent?
Yeah.
They're only worth a cent.
Also, I've done a pretty good job of... Shout out to Hometown Toys. Like those guys?
Which one did you see first?
The one next to it.
Oh. Hometown Toys, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah. Pendleton, Oregon.
Cool. I hope that they continue to thrive because I like the fact that we have a hobby shop in town that actually sells Yu-Gi-Oh cards that is a Walmart. So, actually, you guys single-handedly be like...
Yes, they do.
Here in town? Yeah.
Yeah, they're so...
They're not even behind the customer service counter anymore. They put them back.
Oh, really?
Yep. That didn't last very long. But I like to support the business, and I don't know who else is buying their Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I think I might be single-handedly supporting
Their Yu-Gi-Oh stock?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say so. $500 worth. By the way, Hometown Toys, not an ad, just a good business. Oh, I should probably check sound while we're at this.
It's like a, where you can equate to a mom and pop shop for different nerdy things, but what's really attractive about the business is the people that are running it. They're great guys.
Oh, we got some bad buzz going on.
Oh. Quick, share guy, fix it.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm gonna have to keep all these mics on.
The buzz in your ear, Tony.
Mic 2 is having issues.
Is that me?
Yeah, I think that's you.
What's going on with
no, you're
Mike
good.
2? Don't scare me like that.
Well,
I'm flawless.
it's not registering your sound there, but for some reason you're going through everything.
I use Oriel because I'm worth it.
What the? How did this happen? Okay, so you're going through on Streamlabs. Everything's good on the YouTube side. I'm going to check the other apps.
Okay.
So, sorry about that,
Excellent.
everyone. Hey, why don't we go ahead and restart the intro because everyone heard a big buzz. So, Kenny,
Hold on.
let's redo literally all that 4 minutes.
I still have orange chicken in my mouth. Hold on a second. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Hello, guys, and welcome to another Off the Rails podcast. I'm your host, Kenny, and I'm here with...
Taylor, and I'm here with...
Tony, the guy pushing all the buttons and apparently screwing things up.
He said it, not me.
Yeah. So you were telling us about a Twitch is good. You were telling us about a store that you
Yeah, Hometown Toys.
Hometown Toys. Tell us more about this Hometown Toys.
They sell comics, Funko Pops, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering cards, and Pokemon cards, along with art.
Oh, nice.
And now, their inventory isn't massive. Their stock is pretty light. But they're still growing. They have ambitions. And most importantly, the guys that are running the place are pretty cool. I like them. And not just because they're the only place here that sells Yu-Gi-Oh cards besides this Walmart. So there's that.
All right, we're good on all platforms.
Excellent.
Good.
Sponsor us. What?
Real quick, yes, Hometown Toys, please. Not an ad, but we would like this to be an ad. While I got it, hey everyone, if you're listening on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, please go over to Rumble, find us on Rumble, and subscribe there as well. Give us a follow and give us some likes on there. We're not able to go live on Rumble yet, but we have the backlog of all previous 13 episodes and of Off the Rails and our very first episode of Dungeons and Dimwits uploaded to Rumble. So go there, check out our stuff, give us some likes, some shares, and some subscribings, and that'd be great. Anyways, Hometown Toys, they sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
If you're not sure when we are live streaming, make sure you hit that bell notification or that bell icon.
Because
so that
we're not sure when we live stream either.
We try to hold to a schedule, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out, and we skipped a Thursday, which was in bad faith to our audience, all things considered. I understand that. So I want to apologize first and foremost that we probably shouldn't have done that, and we should have watched the movie tonight instead of doing it Thursday. So that was a pretty big blunder on our part. So moving forward, I think we can all agree that we'll just wait till Friday night to go do the fun things. I just really wanted to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on the podcast.
Well, seeing as you really wanted to talk about it.
It was a pretty sad and somber movie.
You thought it was sad and somber?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was kind of fun.
It still has the Guardians of the Galaxy shenanigans to it, like a D&D party that's barely holding it together kind of thing.
What's that like?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I've never experienced anything like that. But there is a lot of light humor. But that's, you gotta admit, that has got to be the darkest Guardians of the Galaxy movie so far.
It is definitely the most serious take that Guardians of the Galaxy has.
I've never seen so many of the cast members just take back-to-back L's.
It was a little weird. It was weird feeling from James Gunn because I'm not used to him having any real like he's got some serious moments in his movies, but I'm not used to him having any real like somewhat dark and serious movies.
No, we haven't said anything particular about the movie yet, but this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want any spoilers, now would be your time to go ahead and pause and come back to us after you've seen the movie and listen to what we have to say, because I'm about to spill the beans on everything Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So, everything. So, here's my first thing. I like the humor aspect, and I appreciate that they tried to take a more somber tone, especially with Rocket's flashback, but the way they treated Adam Warlock, they couldn't have been more wrong.
I knew that was going to come.
Adam Warlock, what was that?
It was not. He was a child.
It was a child with Adam Warlock's powers. What was that nonsense?
They took a very stoic figure that was very level-headed and wise. You know who he's supposed to be like? He's supposed to be like Vision.
You know,
And guess what we didn't get? Someone like Vision.
no, we got Golden Drax is what we got.
Imagine if you will. Yes. Yes, we basically got Drax 2.0. Imagine if they're like, hey, what's Adam Warlock like? And I was to tell you, oh, he's kind of like Vision. And then you think of Vision from the MCU, and you're like, oh, okay, I got this. And then you go watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and you see that Adam Warlock, you think I'm a liar. Straight up.
You know,
No bueno.
You say that, and I think to myself, like, Disney had a missed opportunity to be able to tie Guardians 3 into the rest of the MCU, like the Disney Plus series, because in WandaVision there was two visions. He basically created a copy of himself, right? And that copy of himself like flew off into the wilderness or into space or whatever to go try. He went to go do some soul searching or something like that. That should have been Adam Warlock. Instead, they made it this kid. Serious missed opportunity. They could have turned Vision.
They casted for Adam Warlock. All I see is he was in like a lot of the older kids movies. All he was this snot-nosed bully in every part he played.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not see the other roles that he plays in. I'm glad that they at least made him goofy as Adam Warlock, because if he tried to be the serious Adam Warlock, it'd be like,
I don't know. I did like some of his other roles. The character that he played in the Maze Runner series was pretty good, and it was a complete contrast to his role in, what was that, Meet the Millers?
Who's...
He's the infamous guy on the meme. You guys are getting paid.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Is
So I mean, the actor's got range.
who's
He's
the
able to
guy?
do
I might be totally wrong here. I'm seeing some parallels. This might not be the same guy. Who's the dude who's acting for Cal Kestis in Fallen Order?
No, that's not the guy.
They look similar.
They could be brothers. They look like they could be, but it's not him. This guy that
Because the guy who played Cal Kestis, is he the one that played young Joker in Gotham?
that might be. He looks closer to that kid. This one. Did you ever watch the Chronicles of Narnia live action movies?
I think a long time ago.
All right. So the third movie, The Great Voyage.
Okay, nope. I didn't even know there was a third movie. I was like, maybe I know Narnia, and then you're like, third movie is like, nope, that sunk that ship fast.
Let me go ahead and do some IMDb here, and I'll
I know, I can imagine who you're talking about. Obviously, I've seen this movie, so I've seen him in this. And then the You Guys Are Getting Paid meme, I recognize that kid from RV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that's not RV, but I mean...
No, not RV, Meet the Millers.
But they were in the RV when he said that.
Yeah, there was an RV. They were drug smugglers. You guys are getting paid? Sorry, that gets me every time. Hold on. You said it's Jedi Survivor, right?
Jedi Fallen Order?
Fallen Order.
Cal Kestis.
Yeah, Survivor is the same thing.
I can't tell if you were screwing with me on that or not.
No, Jedi Survivor is the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, okay.
It's
I'm waiting for them to fix the bugs before I buy the game.
I haven't played the game. I know. I watch a lot of like TikTok clips and things like that. He is. Did you ever watch Shameless?
What'd you say?
Shameless.
Nope.
All right. Well, so he's in Shameless, and he does play Joker, Jerome Velasquez.
Yeah, so Jerome plays.
That's the guy that.
And, yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy that you're thinking about in Jedi, the Fallen Order thing. This kid that plays Adam Warlock is. Hold on a second. Come on. There it is. Looking it up. Sorry, phone doesn't work as fast as I do. Will Poulter. That's his name.
Now I kind of
That
want to.
kid beefed out for that role though, because he was a bony twig
Yeah.
beanpole of a person. Like he was skinnier than you.
He got pretty swole for Adam.
Yeah, he beefed.
Do
out
you not like your
Zach-
chairs?
He beefed out like Zachary Levi in the Shazam.
It's a nervous habit.
Why are you nervous, Taylor?
Why are you Taylor nervous?
I don't know, but I'm.
Taylor, you need to wake up.
What they're saying.
Taylor, you need to wake up. Paisley needs you. It's been 6 months. Taylor, wake up.
You're in a coma. Wake up, Taylor.
Taylor, you're in a coma. Wake up. You can't kill us unless you wake up, Taylor.
Stay in the coma, Taylor.
On second thought, you know what? You deserve it. You've been working hard lately.
You need a nap. You need
I'm sure Paisley's doing just fine. That's a pretty funny joke. I like that. That was a good one, Tony. You know, on second thought, you're good. I've never seen that version of that joke. Have you seen that? Or did we just invent that?
No, I've seen it on iFunny a lot. Like I'll be scrolling through and I'll be reading something, and then like halfway through reading it, it'll be like, "You need to wake up. You're in a coma." I've seen it a lot.
No, I mean that's a pretty common joke. I just mean the part where they're like, you know what, stay in it.
No, that
Yeah.
was just now.
Yeah, that I've never heard that spin on it. That's pretty good.
That was on the spot because she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to kill you both. Stay in the coma. Taylor. You're fine. You need.
You know what? On second thought, you're good. I'm sure we can hit the snooze button on this. um,
Okay. Moving on. That was a good joke.
it doesn't. What's cool about that is it still stays in the same vein as the original joke too. Is that we don't know if she's actually in a coma or not.
Yeah.
They just go away from like
that's a-
encouraging her to wake up to like, you know what? Everything's fine. Everything is okie dokie. I choose life. Which is where we are right now. And nothing else.
This is not a figment of your imagination.
We do not need to wake up. We do not need to kill certain people. Nope. I don't need you to go through a Steven Seagal training montage after you wake up from a coma and start killing people. What movie was that? Steven Seagal, his family gets attacked. He gets shot, but he survives, but he's in a coma. And then he wakes up just in time from his coma when assassins are trying to come get him.
I don't know.
If Ian was here, he'd probably know because he just happens to know things like that. But yeah, Steven Seagal, somebody attacks his family. I don't even remember why they attacked him, but they attack his family.
Was he a cop?
He was. I don't remember. He gets shot. He goes into a coma, and then for some reason, these guys still want to kill him. Like it wasn't enough, so they go to the hospital. But they wait. Apparently, I don't remember how long he was in the coma for, but they waited until the day he woke up. I don't think they planned it that way. They just happened to show up the day he woke up, and he ends up fighting him from his bed.
I remember the movie that you're talking about because he grabbed his IV thing and like pinned one against the wall.
Yeah, in the elevator.
Yeah.
Because he like rode his way on the gurney into the elevator and then fights one in the elevator. Steven Seagal, man. What a guy. You'll never expect these fight scenes. He fought a man in an elevator while laying on a bed with an IV pole. There's this dude on TikTok that likes to make harsh criticisms of Steven Seagal movies. I don't know if you've seen these TikToks, but they're
I haven't seen them.
so funny. And I like me some Steven Seagal, but come on, man. He's asking for it with the things he does in his movies. There was one where he got into this was a drawn out combat scene, a fist fight, and Steven Seagal was sitting down in a chair through the fight. I like the fact, one of my favorite criticisms that I actually agree with the guy on about Steven Seagal in his movies is that he uses stunt doubles for the dumbest things.
What's that?
Like walking away slowly from the camera.
What?
Yeah. Like, really? You needed another dude to stand in for you on that?
Oh yeah, he didn't want to show that he was out of breath.
That's funny. He points that out too because there's a scene where it actually shows him from the front running, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's the real him! Like it's a miracle."
Steven Seagal can run.
What's happening right now?
Can that stage support that?
But his movies used to be really good, and now they're just.
I remember you and I talked about this in his earlier stuff when it was because Steven Seagal is pretty formulaic with his work. His earlier stuff seemed kind of revolutionary, and then now it's just he needs a paycheck, so he's gonna make another movie. Half of them are like straight to streaming, not even straight. Some of them aren't even straight to streaming. Some of them are in the $5 bin at Walmart. But he makes money off of it somehow.
I'm sure he's got a lot of the other side hustles, like his jazz career. I don't know if you knew about that. He sings the blues.
Oh no.
I wonder how much he gets paid to do Aikido.
I don't know. Probably a lot, actually.
Steven Seagal. I grew up watching your movies. Aikido is a farce.
Dude, the pain in your face when you said that.
Did you see the interview where he's talking to a guy and they're I don't know if you've seen it, but they're talking about martial artists. And he's like, the interviewer, he's like, you've worked with some genuine martial artists in your career, working in movies and whatnot. And Steven Seagal's like, could you name one? And the guy's like, yeah, sure, Michael J. White. And Steven Seagal's like, am I allowed to laugh? Oh, Steven,
What?
Steph. Can I call you Steph?
Steph.
Steph, listen. Michael J. White would mop the floor with you. I don't dislike you. I don't hate you. But come on. The choices you're making are making it so hard to defend you. And you don't need my defense. And you probably don't even care what these people think of you. But hot dang! Are you doing some goofy things out there? Goofy things with 2 O's. Like stupid.
Like yuck.
Yeah, his
You know, I could just imagine, like, him sitting in his dojo.
his dojo.
Him sitting in his dojo. At his house.
At his house.
Yeah. And he's just, like, scouring the internet. And somehow he comes across Your Move Studios and is like, oh, these guys, they really like my work. And then he just hears you call him stupid. It is time. He comes out of retirement.
Insert training montage here.
Gets up, grabs a new can of black hairspray, and fills it in.
So you know, when you get interviewed by police and they put you in that interrogation room, one of the reasons why they want to isolate you is so that you can't collaborate a story with other people.
Yeah.
So that when you tell your side of things, it's really just you telling the story. You can't confirm things with other people. You can't double check to see if what you saw was true. You just tell your side. It's supposed to be unfettered. There's a movie with Steven Seagal where he's sitting in the interrogation room and he's telling the guy, I'm not going to say anything until I can talk to the girl I was with so that we can get our story straight.
That's not how that works.
If that doesn't sound like some BS. Like if you were the officer, the cop, the detective, whoever you be, across the table and you heard that, like, huh?
I just realized I think we're pretty loud I'm gonna need to.
We're too loud?
Yeah, a little loud.
How did we get too
No,
loud?
no, it's fine. It's
What am I paying you for?
you don't pay me. Actually, yours is down to 88%, so I'm not gonna mess with it.
Neat.
Any lower, and the people aren't gonna be able to hear you when you actually get quiet.
Oh no. So, I wanted to tell this story. I've probably already told you this, so, but I haven't said it over
I was
this.
gonna say the audience hasn't heard it yet.
The audience hasn't heard it, and I love telling this story. It's one of the funniest things. I don't know if I told Taylor either. When I was,
Pay attention.
she's just doing things with her hands. When I got activated to do fires, this was probably 5 summers ago. I went down to Salem, got red card certified. They deployed the National Guard to help fight fires here. We probably had the most boring jobs they could possibly give people, because we're not hot shots. Hot shots means that you're like special forces firefighters, people that jump out of perfectly good planes to paradrop onto fires. Figure that one out. No, we're just a couple of guys getting paid probably the least amount of money out of everyone there on volunteer status to protect our state. So we got this job called Patrolling the Black. This is what Patrolling the Black entails. You go to where the fire's already been. You spread out into a wide line. And then you walk that wide line across the black. And you make sure, while you're doing that sweep, that the fire is truly out in all the spots. We do it for hours a day. Just walking where a fire has already gone through. To make sure, just looking around like, oh, there's smoke over there. Stomp it out. Alright, that's dead. Keep walking. And sometimes the black is just ash that's like a foot deep, so every time you take a step, it's like crunch, crunch. We got bored, needless to say. We got so bored. When you're doing wildland fighting, you've got these tools. You got like a Pulaski tool, a McLeod, different things to help you deal with fires. They kind of look like farm equipment, really. There's like axes, hose, things like that. Well, we kind of started acting like cavemen while we were patrolling the black. Just, oh, 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 unga, 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 bunga. And at one point, one of us ended up seeing a tree stump that had turned into a chimney, which meant that the fire was still burning on the inside, and it had actually hollowed out the tree. But we saw it, and we got excited because there was something to do. And it was like, ooh, 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 ooh. And then we started like, everyone started like gathering around it, and instead of like professionals and strategically attacking the fire, we just took our tools and started smacking it over and over again until the fire was out. Boom, 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 boom. Like attacking this fire violently. Like Neanderthals with no intelligent sign of speech, language.
We're fighting fire with stick.
And when the fire was finally out, we just slowly died out, and then went back in line and started wandering the black some more. It was one of the funniest things I've ever been a part of. And it was out of sheer boredom. Boonga boonga. You ever see a bunch of grown men just take garden equipment, essentially, and start smacking a fire until it dies?
I wish I would have actually seen that. I have a joke for you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I have a joke for Taylor. Why did the Mexican guy take Xanax? Why did... What? It's for his Hispanic attacks.
Taylor, are you actually Mexican?
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Like, how much Mexican are you?
Ow.
Well, yeah, you know what? I would have never pegged you for Mexican. I don't even think Mexicans would peg you for Mexican.
There is whiter Mexicans than me.
Does Dusty even know you're Mexican?
Yes.
I bet you don't even taste Mexican.
What? Where did that come from? Wow.
Well, she certainly doesn't look it or smell it.
Wait, but
Mexicans have a certain smell to you.
Well, apparently you're a quarter Mexican, so there's got to be something that defines you as Mexican.
her dad.
She's only a quarter of her dad, 75% of her mom. What makes you a quarter Mexican?
My dad's half Mexican. My grandfather's full.
Your grandfather's full Mexican.
Yes.
Is your grandmother full Mexican?
No.
Is your mom Mexican?
No. This is my grandfather.
No, I'm fairly certain that
That's
her-
your grandfather?
This is my grandfather.
And what does your grandmother look like?
white.
Yeah, Tony, gosh, why you gotta bring up such awkward things and say weird stuff? This is a podcast for families. What does Mexican taste like, you weirdo? Don't worry, I got your back, Taylor.
I'm not sure anymore.
Not sure if you want him to have that after him talking about the way you taste.
No.
Dude, what is up with you? You're the one who brought up the stripper story too.
That was funny, though.
4 episodes ago.
It was clean and it was funny. I challenge any of you to come up with a story that was that funny and potentially dirty.
100%, I give that crown to you, sir. You almost killed me from laughter that day.
Man, can I make some pretty off-kilter things real funny and clean?
You said my face turned purple.
Yeah.
All I saw was, like, in my eyes, all I saw was everything turning white and fading away.
When did your grandma pass away?
My grandmother passed away before I came back from Burns. That was the whole reason I went to Burns.
Yeah, I remember that now. And you don't have any pictures of her?
I'm looking for the last picture.
To be fair, I don't have any pictures of my grandma, so ball's in my court. Mine's still alive.
I'm fairly certain I don't have any.
Well, one of them is. You want to hear some pretty funny things about my personal life.
But, I mean, that's about all we ever hear, but I'm down for more. I can't think of any funny thing that I have in my personal life that ever compares to your stories.
You just don't put yourself out there enough. I have seen your grandma. Where have I seen her before? I recognize that face. Where have I seen that before?
I don't know. I didn't get to see.
I've seen your grandma.
My grandma didn't come up here very much.
I've seen your grandma.
She's from down
Oh no, she looks like one of the gals that works at the school.
I swear I've seen that lady before.
Anyway,
So my family tree.
your family tree,
My family tree. This
which is a
about
telephone pole.
to get- Oh. Am I blue? What? Am I from Kentucky? I have 3 dads across my life. My biological father, who I didn't finally talk to until I worked at Midco.
I remember you telling me about that.
And so then the father that raised me at the beginning of my life, his name is James. My parents got a divorce, and this is where things started getting real janky. I have an uncle named Joe. He was married to my dad's sister, my dad James. When my parents got a divorce, my mom got into a relationship with my uncle, which you can imagine soured the relationship between him and his wife at the time. So they also got a divorce. Then my mom married my uncle. So my uncle became my dad, who is now my dad right now, Joe. Here's where it gets twisted.
Are you your own grandpa?
Hold on. Hold the phone.
Hold the phone. Okay.
My dad, James, his mom, my grandma,
Yes.
married my mom's dad.
Okay.
So my grandma, who was my grandma originally anyways, but then when my dad got divorced from the family, he was my stepdad at the time, not my biological. So when he got separated from the family, he was no longer my father. But his mom married my grandpa. And because he was the daughter of my grandma-in-law, that made him my uncle because he was the sister-in-law to my mom because of that. So my uncle and my dad,
The sister-in-law, or he was?
he was the brother-in-law to my
Okay.
mom.
I was. You
My bad.
Threw me there for a minute. I was like, wait.
But what ended up is that my uncle and my dad switched places in our family tree. My mom married my uncle after she got divorced with my father. And then because my first stepfather's mom married my grandpa, that made him my uncle. So my father and my uncle switched places. Genuinely switched places in the family tree. Can you believe that? Like, not everything's like hunky-dory and roses over here. It's like, what the? What in the spittoon hillbilly banjo is going on over here?
I thought your family was hard to track.
I know.
So, yeah. Woohoo. My uncle became my dad, and my dad became my uncle.
And you are your own grandpa.
Maybe. Who knows?
I mean, if things keep playing out the way it is.
I still have a grandma alive. If I marry her, I could probably pull it off. I appreciate the look you gave me, but there's no way to translate that to the audience without saying something. Taylor just gave me the most horrified look when I said I was going to marry my grandma.
It's good to have goals.
This is why I buy cards.
This
Because if I don't, weird things are going to start
this is why we have the podcast when we do. Because Tired Kenny gets a little weird.
Oh, boy. I like mofos.
Mofos is good.
I don't get it very often. I like it. It's not my favorite place, and there's other like Oriental cuisines that I prefer. But this isn't bad.
I like Vietnamese food. It's good. What I don't like,
I'm pretty sure Vietnamese food likes you.
I can't comment specifically on that, but I do have a Vietnamese daughter, so
Family trees. Family trees.
family trees.
Family trees.
What
I saw them at Walmart the other night. I remember telling you about that.
who? Oh, my kid?
Yeah, your Vietnamese super child
Yeah, my Asian baby.
and your not ex-wife,
Yeah.
who I thought was your ex-wife.
Yeah, no, I didn't marry that one. No, she's still pretty chill, but yeah, no.
Oh, speaking of your not ex-wife.
Yeah.
Not gay. Just putting that out there. I'm not gay.
You're not gay?
Not gay. Not gay. If
It was like a
at
lot
any
of-
point you listen to this podcast and you thought, man, that host, I bet he's gay. I'm here to tell you right now. Totally not gay.
So, quick backstory behind that for the audience. There, around our old job at the bus company, there was a growing suspicion about Kenny's sexuality. It was just
I don't even know how.
hilarious.
How?
Because the hilarious thing about this is that while everyone there was questioning Kenny and his sexuality, I take. How did that get unplugged? Taylor, can you check to see if that's plugged in there? Because the laptop's about to die.
Why is your laptop about to die?
I plugged it into the white cable. Did it get unplugged? Okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
Ooh, saved it in the nick of time. High five.
We
Score
almost
one for the
we almost had to end the podcast early, and I would not have rebooted. I would be like, all right,
Nope.
it's night.
Nope, God has spoken.
This is a toothpick stand right now, and if anything sweeps the legs, I'm done.
So we just get started with Your Move Studios, right? We had just started this. Was it 2017? Is when we started kicking this off, and we did a few skits, and I take it and I show my ex that one, and the first words out of her mouth was, "Too bad the cute one's gay." She has never met Kenny before in her life. That was her immediate thought about him from a skit off of YouTube.
Too bad the cute one's gay.
Too bad
And
the
I did
cute one's
investigate
gay.
that because I was like, who does she think is cute? And she's like, the skinny guy. Oh no. It couldn't be David. Couldn't be Tony.
It was just you and David in that one. I had to ask her, which one, blue eyes or brown? The blue eyes one. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Our dispatcher. I remember, and that's not, I didn't even know our dispatcher thought that way until we told that exact story.
Yeah, and her exact words were, "You're not?"
You're not? Not screwing with me, not trying to add humor to the situation.
She was genuinely "You're not?
You're not?
What?"
What? I don't know what to say. I'm reminded of two more stories. Probably real quick. The first one, I've already forgotten what it was.
Oh no.
What was it?
Uh,
What were we just talking about? We were doing a skit. David.
the presumption of your sexuality.
Okay, that first one, I'm going to have to remember it later. But the second one, I remember clearly. I was standing at the counter of our old job. And it was a pretty busy day. Things were happening. It was a hub and a bustle. But for some reason, I was standing at the counter, not doing anything. And Tony was sitting at a desk just on the other side, and he wasn't doing anything either. And in the mass chaos of what was happening in this office, I started doing a dance and whatnot. And like I was lip syncing towards Tony.
Yes, I remember this.
And then I stopped real quick, and I told him, "No one will ever believe you."
My response was, "Everyone's going to believe me." I could have lied about it and said that you did it and you didn't do it, and they still would believe me.
I like to use that as a description of the kind of person I am. Because that sums up
It's
who
so
I
perfect.
am.
It's 100%.
You could have
you.
not done that, and if I told people you did it, they would still believe me. I'm not trying to say that Tony's a believable guy, but just who I am. People would think, yeah, I can imagine him busting out to song and dance randomly in the office.
100%. That is not a testament to how honest of a person I am. That is a testament to how off the wall Kenny is. That was so great. Like the straight faced, no one will ever believe you. Yes, they will. The 100%. You could have not done it, and then I say that you did it, and everyone would believe that you did it.
One of our old partners, Gabe, he has two brothers, a younger and an older. I am also friends with both of them.
Mhm.
His younger brother, we were hanging out at his place for a little bit with his at the time it was his girlfriend before she became his wife. And
Okay.
one of the things that was stopping her from being in a committed relationship with him is because she thought, kid you not, that we were gay.
She was dating this man at the time.
They were trying to start up a relationship.
Oh,
She was new. She just recently moved into the RV park up by the airport. And Josh was showing her around and whatnot. And Josh was trying to get with her, but she was like really hesitant because she thought him and I were gay. And I could kind of see that one because at the time, like when we were hanging out together, he was like sitting on my lap at the time. Like if you take this room that we're sitting in right now, like him and I were over on the couch and he was sitting on my lap and she was sitting like isolated in one of the chairs at the table. And like that was the kind of awkward distance that they had between each other. But I don't even remember what we were doing. I just remember specifically he was sitting on my lap. I don't know if I was playing a game or whatnot, and he just happened to sit on my lap. So I'm a social person.
And you still tend to wonder why people think this.
I'm a social person. I don't necessarily have boundaries.
Yeah.
And I'm not thrown off by other people. I'm a very gregarious person. I have a social battery that does not drain, it charges when I'm around people, which is you don't hear about that very often.
That's the reason why I started this company with you, is because you are the social butterfly and you got this whole look at me type attitude. Frankly, I that's what I enjoy about you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, you are definitely the Your Move Studios pick me girl.
Yep, I'm not a person who enjoys isolation. Privacy is not something I'm huge about. Not that like I want to get rid of privacy, but having still small moment private things is boring to me. I can appreciate its value for what it is, especially with like doing I do Bible studies and whatnot, and having private moments is pretty good for that. But I am definitely not shy away from social events. Nope. I thought it was really funny when I told Mike, hey, we're going to have a room together when we go down to Salem. And he's like, nope. Nope, I will skip out. I'm not going if we have the same room.
That's a whole lot of not happening.
I never got around to saying it, but I did have a joke locked in the chamber that I didn't get around to saying at the time, but I was wanting to say, like, how do you want me to wake you up in the morning? I wanted to tell him that. I don't remember what happened.
He might have actually quit right there if that would have happened.
One of my favorite things to do to screw with Mike and Cecile is to pretend like they're not in a relationship and then try to hook them up with each other. I find that hilarious. Because like whenever I'm with one of them and I see the other one walking in the distance, I'm like, hey, I've been talking to that guy and he's mad about you. And Cecile will like obviously blush and whatnot. She's told me to. Oh no, I can't believe you're making me blush right now. This is so embarrassing. And I'll be like, hey, I think he's free Friday. You should go ask him what he's doing. Maybe you can, start something. And I'll do it to Mike too. Like, hey, you see that lady over there? I'm pretty sure she's single. You should go say something. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's hilarious.
Mike, I know you're going to listen to this at some point. And maybe you'll share this moment with your partner and see what she has to say. I do like picking on you guys. It's pretty funny. Also, I know you're listening, and I gotta say it because I say it to you every day. Nerd. Okay. Oh, okay. That reminds me of another thing.
There it comes.
This wasn't from earlier, but this is today.
Today.
So we're bus drivers. We drive for hours a day, and until recently we couldn't even have the radio on. So it's hard to find something to entertain yourselves. I can't have my phone out. There was no kids on the bus at the time. I didn't turn on the radio or anything. So, what did I find myself doing? Kid you not, I was practicing saying nerd in funny ways. And I was going down Cayuse. You know how Cayuse has these hills, right?
Okay.
And a lot of them are like blind hills. And at one point, I was getting real into it. Like, I contorted my face. I put my bottom lip up by my front teeth, and I was like, nerd! And as I crest that hill, another car was coming the other way. And that guy got a full picture of me just screaming nerd into my front windshield. And I don't know what the guy's reaction was because they passed pretty quick.
Oh my gosh,
I imagine
that
they had
is
some
hilarious.
questions.
Just, oh man.
I do have internal monologues sometimes. And sometimes during my internal monologues, I get like really hyped about what I'm doing or saying.
Uh-huh.
And it will go from like inside voice to outside voice.
The intrusive thoughts win.
But it's random and I'm not paying attention to what's going on around me when it happens. So, and it could be like I'm remembering something that happened in my past or a joke that I heard somewhere. And somewhere randomly through the joke or thought or anything, just something will pop out of me. And then I'll go back inside. And so, like, for people around me, there's, like, no context.
I have that too. There'll be times when I'm like sitting around the smoking circle. I don't smoke, but I hang out with the smokers. I'll be sitting in there, and then just like out of nowhere, I'll start laughing about a joke that I heard or something. Just a little, like 3 hours ago, 3 days ago, it doesn't even matter.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll say like one word, like macaroni.
Macaroni.
Yeah, and then
Then people look at you like, what?
why? Luckily, when it happens to me, most of the time I'm around Sherry, who's like that all the time, anyways.
Oh.
So
Macaroni.
yeah, so I'm pretty. Hey, Arithmetics Word Puzzles says, hey, how's it going, bud? It was nice that you joined us today, a day late. We talked about Guardians of the Galaxy. It was pretty cool. Go back and watch that if you want to endure some spoilers.
Yeah.
Which we didn't really spoil.
No,
too
we
much
didn't.
now that I
Like,
think about it.
we went.
We're like.
I'm so glad you brought that up because like we went off
Yeah.
the rails. Oh my goodness. We should have took that left turn at Albuquerque, but no, we went straight. There wasn't even rails. I'm pretty sure we turned into a submarine
Here at Your Move Studios, we go the extra mile because we missed the exit.
because we missed that last exit. Okay, hold on. I'm switching lanes here. Back onto Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was a hard turn. No segue
Yes.
at all.
Here's another thing I wish they would have done differently. This isn't like a huge one, but I think it would have provided better to the movie had they done it this way. If Drax didn't just get his butt handed to him by Adam Warlock. When Adam Warlock first comes in and he tags Rocket Raccoon with a cheap shot,
Yeah.
and then it shows him going through basically the whole team beating him up, and then Drax comes in.
Yeah.
And they kind of set it up to where like, oh yeah, it's Drax, and he even says the line, "Pick on somebody your own size." And we know
and-
Drax is supposed to be
I was gonna say he threw him around a little bit.
the most powerful member of the team, or
Yeah.
the team as it was then. So I was like, yeah, I could just see Adam Warlock fight Drax. This is going to be good. And no, it wasn't. It was like he got a couple shots in on Adam Warlock, and then Adam Warlock like pins him down pretty quick.
I think that was supposed to accent to the sheer ferocity and power of Adam Warlock, but then like they immediately subverted all of that with his character development question mark.
Well, here's my thing. I'm not necessarily saying that he would beat Adam Warlock, but it should have been a more fair fight than what it was. And here's where I would have critiqued it. I wouldn't have made it like a long, drawn-out slugfest because there was a point to that fight.
Uh-huh.
And seeing a long, drawn-out fight is not what we're there for. But I wish that Drax would have aided Nebula in his defeat. I wish there was a struggle that he aided in and helped Nebula, not Nebula just stabbing him in the back out of left field and then that was the end of the fight. Because that seemed unfulfilling. I wish it would have been one of those things where him and Drax were going at it. It was obviously leaning towards Adam Warlock, deservedly so, but it was leaning his way. And then Nebula comes in. She's trying to sneak attack him, but he catches on and he stops her at the last second. But then Drax ends up getting into a struggle that causes him to be skewered. Like it's one of those things where it's like slow, and then Drax is able to either overwhelm him in some degree or distract him long enough for Nebula to actually skewer Adam Warlock. Instead of just sitting there on the ground, not doing anything because he was pummeled, and then out of nowhere, oh, Nebula's arm. I would have liked to have seen like a struggle where it was Nebula and Drax doing everything they could to get Nebula's arm through his chest. That would have been awesome. I would have been there. I would have been right there through that whole fight. But no, I got to see Drax beat up and then he got stabbed. And it was like, oh, I don't like either of these things.
Now that you mention it, it did go a little quick with it. It went really fast paced. It didn't really have much time to get invested. Like they tried to force the emotional attachment to it by having the society around reacting to the hits that Adam Warlock was giving to Drax. But now that you mention it, I didn't feel invested in the fight.
And I'm going to circle right back around to why I think Adam Warlock in the movie was dumb. To set him up, it's the same thing with when Thanos defeated the Hulk. Okay, there's the setup. Here's the payoff. He defeats the Hulk. This guy's not to be messed with. He's a big deal. That's what it means when you have someone come in and defeat a powerhouse like that. When Adam Warlock comes in and he's taking it to Drax, and then Drax and Nebula together defeat him, it's like, okay, he means business. This is going to be a threat from here on out. What happened? Because after that, nope. What they set up as a character, especially when we're first introduced to him, we don't have an identity on him. He doesn't say anything that makes you think one way or another. He's just vague enough to where he seems like a normal character. He's got powers. He's powerful. But then after that, his power almost means nothing. And he's a goofy character. So what they set up never comes in for the rest of the movie ever. Like, oh, we don't need a big, strong, powerful guy right now. That big, strong, powerful guy doesn't do anything big, strong, or powerful later on.
Welcome to Disney. That's what they do now.
That sucked. Adam Warlock was mistreated in that movie, and it didn't even make the movie better. They could have replaced Adam Warlock with somebody else, and it would be the same movie. They could have actually picked someone who was intentionally built to be a goofy character, and the movie might have made more sense. But they picked Adam Warlock.
They could have killed off Adam Warlock when Nebula stabbed him, and it wouldn't have changed the movie at all.
I don't know. The one thing that Adam Warlock's got going on for him, which even surprised me, was that he saved Star-Lord in the end from space.
Yeah, but even then, that seemed somewhat contrived. My mic's not here. I don't think anyone could hear me. Even then, that seems somewhat contrived because he was completely out of it up until that moment, and then just like out of nowhere, he's Michelangeloing his way in to save Star-Lord.
It wouldn't be difficult to explain to the audience some way for literally everybody to somehow save Star-Lord. It would have been nice, so I can see that. But it was a moment that surprised me because they show him for a moment and then they never cut back to him ever again until that moment. And then you have that really goofy Leonardo.
Michelangelo.
Was that Michelangelo?
Yeah, it was Michelangelo.
Okay. But they make that real funny pose.
Yeah.
With Adam and God. But Adam's got a swollen face.
No, that's Peter.
I thought that was Adam and God.
Peter's the one who had a swollen face.
No, in the painting that they were
Oh.
duplicating, that's Adam and God.
Was it Adam and God, or was it Adam and Michael? Or Jesus and Michael?
No, it was. I believe that was Adam and God. Oh no! Subscribe down below if you know the answer to that. Anyways, I found that kind of humoring. My favorite part of that movie, though, one of my favorite parts of that movie, I can't say that's my favorite part, but one of my favorite parts of that
help
movie
us out with this.
is that they brought in the guy from Firefly.
Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
Nathan Fillion, I love that guy as an actor. I'll say this: he's one of the very few. I call them character actors because they only play one character. He's one of the very few character actors I actually enjoy. I normally I don't have a whole lot to say about people who play one particular character all the time. Like for example, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Dwayne the Rock Johnson plays Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and all of a sudden,
I feel that way about
Jason Momoa.
Johnny Depp.
No, I would have to disagree with Johnny Depp.
There's very few things I've seen Johnny Depp do that are not him being Johnny Depp. Because usually whatever movie he's in is like, oh, it's just Johnny Depp. It's the same guy.
Secret Window,
Very few things where he's not just playing Johnny Depp.
The Ninth Gate, Sleepy Hollow,
He's playing Johnny Depp in Sleepy Hollow.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
I just see Johnny Depp in all of Johnny Depp's movies. I just see him.
I'm just saying, like those are
Johnny Depp is a character actor,
I
in my opinion.
I specifically
He's not Paul
named-
Newman.
I specifically named 4 movies where he plays 4 really different characters.
I still see Johnny Depp.
Okay.
I can't seem to separate the guy from the characters. It's him. Especially when he works under Tim Burton.
That one I'll agree with the exception of Edward Scissorhands. He's plays really different as Edward Scissorhands than he does in what was the other one that he worked with?
Was he in Nightmare on Elm Street?
No. Sweeney Todd, right?
Yeah, he was.
He was.
I'll give you that one. He wasn't Johnny Depp in that one. He was pretty
Which
new,
one
fresh.
did he play in Nightmare on Elm Street?
He was the kid that got sucked into the bed and then it turned into a tornado of blood.
Oh, that's right.
That was him.
That's right.
I'll tell you, if you showed me that one and told me it wasn't Johnny Depp, I'd be like, I have no idea that I wouldn't recognize it. But whenever Johnny Depp comes into a movie, like I just see the same things over and over again. It feels like Johnny Depp playing Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to somewhat respectfully disagree with you on that one. Johnny
Get
Depp
out.
is
No,
not
I'm kidding.
Johnny Depp is not a person I would call a character actor, but like Jason Momoa is a character actor. He plays the same thing every time. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, same thing every time.
A lot of action hero guys like
Mark Wahlberg.
I'm not sure about that one, but I will say like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone,
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
yeah, those guys all play the same dude.
So Jean-Claude Van Damme, that's a little bit because of the cocaine.
I knew he couldn't do splits naturally.
Yeah, but anyways, we kind of derailed there for a minute. We were talking about
I like how somber the movie was. It was nice to have the humor of Guardians of the Galaxy, but they finally explored a darker side of things, and I appreciate they did that. I don't prefer that. I like the more lighthearted versions of Guardians of the Galaxy, even with how dark the second one got, with him realizing that his father is this giant egomaniacal space goblin planet, and it killed his mom. That was dark, but
they said he was a celestial.
Yeah, well, he was a celestial power. That was dark, but it was mostly humoring in its aspects. This one was just straight dark. Rocket's backstory, Nebula.
To put it back on the track of Nathan Fillion, is what we were talking about.
I liked that Nathan Fillion was in the movie.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't necessarily care what he was doing. I just liked him being there.
It was fun.
He was kind of. I put him in the basket where he could do no wrong, and I'm willing to accept that, like, maybe he did something crazy or weird, or there was certain things that he could have acted better. But right now I'm willing to just sit in a boat and say that he was awesome, and I appreciate him being there, and him just being there was good for me. So
it was fun.
I don't care if there was flaws in whatever he was doing, or the fact that his part in the movie maybe didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm not saying that that's my opinion of it, but if someone were to come to me with facts and logic or whatnot and say that this, like, he was objectively like not a good point in the movie, I don't care because it's Nathan Fillion.
I got to be honest with you. I would argue with that one because I actually think that his role in the movie was substantial to the story.
If we took Nathan Fillion out and replaced it with someone else, how would that change the movie?
Replaced him with like another actor, or
literally,
no. So like his character.
his
I
character
liked-
didn't matter to the story, but I liked that they brought in Nathan Fillion anyways.
Well, I mean, like his character did kind of matter because that provided the roadblock and the suspicion on the heist. You know,
They built him up for the sake of Nathan Fillion.
yes,
He wasn't named. He didn't do anything.
No. As far as them casting,
And
Nathan,
after his scene was done, he never really comes back again. And honestly, he's not important. You can take him out of the movie and it'll be the same movie, but I want him there because it's Nathan
them
Fillion.
casting him in that role was purely for fan service, and I bought it.
I'm also a fan of the TV show Rookie.
I liked.
Is it Rookie or The Rookies?
It's Rookie. The Rookies is different.
I liked that show.
I liked the first couple seasons of that show, but I was not a fan of the later ones, and I haven't seen any of the FBI Rookie. So, but as far as Nathan Fillion's role in those shows, he does a good job. I really do enjoy it. He will always be Captain Reynolds.
I like the fact that they got him in as Buck when he became an ODST.
Yeah.
I mean, not an ODST, a Spartan.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Well, he was also in ODST.
Was he the voice actor for him?
Yeah. He's always been the voice actor. And he was one of Halo's biggest fans. He's actually he's told some through his interviews and whatnot, he's told some stories about when he's jumped into random lobbies and he can hear the people on the other side, dude, shut up, I'm playing a game with Nathan Fillion. Because he does. He's in Xbox Live parties. He plays video games.
That's awesome. There's a lot to like about Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, he seems pretty chill. I know a lot of people who don't like him. They say that it's because he always acts like the cool guy that you want to hang out with, and for some reason that bugs him. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? He does always act like the cool guy that I want to hang out with, and I do want to hang out with him because he's the cool guy.
Maybe because he is.
It sounds like you're jealous, bro.
Well, it kind of does. It doesn't seem intentional to me.
That's
there's
just
a
the way
difference
he is.
between seeing someone intentionally doing it and someone just being themselves.
No, he's got charisma, is what it is.
He's got swagger.
Yeah. It's the same thing about like people wanting to hang out with Jason Momoa. You know, he's got charisma. It's just the way that he is. And that's why people cast them as those personalities, because people want to see their personalities. They don't want to see anything else. But as an actor, I think that is more of a handicap.
Nathan Fillion does a good job of bringing genuine to his acting. There are people.
Oh yeah, like when he gets mad, when he's acting, when he shows anger. You could almost actually it's like Tony Stark levels of Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. levels of acting when he shows anger. It's believable.
He seems very genuine, but like, and I'm really hearkening back to his role in the Rookie TV show. I've never seen someone so believably act out a novice, but not just any novice, a novice that was somehow he had really good humility to him in his character.
He was a novice in the new career, but it was accompanied by the humble understanding of his already lived experience.
Yeah. And it was nice to see someone that was so genuine in all of that. He brought a lot to the table in that. He was a very dynamic character in The Rookie. He was a very, very dynamic character, and I think he played all the angles just right. I think he was someone that was modest. I think he was genuine in his modesty. He was genuine in his humility. He was gung ho. He was trying to do the right thing, and at times it even made him look naive. And I think he owned it for his character and for the acting. I think Nathan Fillion. Wow. Even as soon as I said it, I was like, nope, that's not it. Nathan Fillion is a very genuine actor.
Yes.
Very, very genuine actor.
Yeah.
When he's angry, he kind of reminds me of Sir Anthony Hopkins. Let me describe a scene to you that might remind you of
question mark?
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
No, so you say that, and I'm just emphasizing the look on my face because I want to know where you're going with this.
Okay, I'm gonna hype this scene up.
Hype it.
And then hopefully you'll agree with me. Otherwise, it's gonna fall flat and it's gonna be awkward.
Probably.
This scene
I already
had
disagree
Sir
with
Anthony
you.
Hopkins in it, and it had him show anger, frustration, and ultimately disappointment in somebody else. And it was moving. It was good. It was powerful. It felt like it was from the soul. The scene in Thor, the first movie, terrible movie by the way, but Thor, the first movie, when Odin takes his powers from him, that was a good scene. That was a powerful scene. It was an emotional scene by Sir Anthony Hopkins, who played Odin, when he took Thor's powers away. You should see it if you're not familiar with that.
I've seen it.
That was a really good. That was a good depiction of someone who is frustrated, fed up, and done.
Yeah, I've seen almost all of the MCU except for Captain Marvel. And I know what you're talking about. Then that was genuine fatherly frustration. Like I'm going to emphasize, build on what you're saying, because what he portrayed in that moment was the frustration of seeing the potential of a person and having to sit by idly every day watching them squander it and take it for granted, and then to get so fed up that you just, for lack of a better term, ground them.
Kick him out.
Just
get a job.
I'm done, and you're not getting this. And the whole, if he should be worthy, as he whispers it into the hammer, and then just throws it away. And you know what? You don't ever see that interaction, that kind of interaction with them, ever again until Thor Ragnarok, when he looks at his kid and says, "What are you, Thor, god of hammers?"
What are you, Thor, god of hammers? I can't defeat her. She destroyed my hammer. What are you, Thor, god of hammers?
It was a genuine fatherly discussion of, this is your potential. This is what I've seen in you this entire time. This is who you are.
You didn't need it then, and you don't need it now.
You have to own it. Yeah.
You found yourself without the hammer. You can do it again.
So, and now that you say that, yeah, I actually can see that in Nathan Fillion.
I can see Nathan Fillion doing Sir Anthony Hopkins. I can. I genuinely can.
Yeah, I've seen like his roles in Firefly, Serenity, the movie, that they had to kind of tie everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that one?
It was a long while ago.
So he's harboring the hatred that he has against the assassin.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last little bit, when he's goes to, do you know what your sin is? And then just out of nowhere, he comes back and attacks, and he's like, I'm a bit of a fan of all 7 of them, and right now I'm going to dabble in a little bit of wrath. And he's just directed all of his anger at the assassin, but it's controlled because it's at that moment that he realizes that he believes again. And it's a weird thing because I don't think it's like obvious to anyone else out there, because I'm the only one that I've ever heard talk about it. But it was at that moment that he chose, this is what I believe in, And it wasn't a belief in God. It wasn't a belief in a higher power. It wasn't a belief in anything else. It was a belief in what is right and what is wrong. And you are on the wrong side of this.
I can appreciate that.
So Nathan Fillion is, and basically what I'm getting at here. Hey, can you grab me a drink from there?
You want root beer or ginger ale?
Ginger ale, please. I think it was that role that I saw him in that I actually like started to understand his potential as an actor.
He's getting old too.
Yeah, he is. His age
He's
is
been around the block for a while.
his age is starting to show.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, he's still pretty stacked, pretty built for his age. I mean, he's not like Ben Affleck stacked, but he's stacked. I think if given the right role, he could probably get back in shape.
I can see it. I think they did a good job with Rocket Raccoon in the movie. I think the backstory was real good. I
Who
think it set up a lot of
plays
things.
Rocket Raccoon again? It's
Bradley
Bradley
Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper. He does. As a voice actor, he does really good.
I'm glad they had a lot of like revolving doors of enemies in that movie, because I think the High Evolutionary was not a real complete villain for the whole thing. And I'm glad there was a lot of subplots and a lot of things happening simultaneously that all try to culminate to a thing. And I appreciate the defeat that they had of the High Evolutionary. Not my favorite villain, but I think they treated him adequately by not making him like the crux.
They treated him better than Kang and what was that one?
Quantumania.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, for some reason, I wanted to call it the Omniverse.
Nonsense. Even compared to the one I'm about to mention, Kang was pretty good. The Divergent from... It's not Marvel's. What's the one with the guys that have been around since the beginning?
The Eternals?
Yeah, from the Eternals.
Oh, that's another one I haven't seen yet.
That
I totally forgot that
the
even
villain
existed.
from the villain, I think they're called Divergent. He like even gets ignored in his own movie. Also,
Deviant.
yeah, Deviant, the Deviant.
How did you forget that? That's what Thanos is. He's got a deviant gene.
I knew it was something DIV, but in the grand scheme of things for villains, not so bad. Actually, he was a pretty. Matter of fact, he's one of the best parts of that movie, in my opinion. Kang is actually pretty good.
I
like,
liked him as
Thor
his
2,
I was gonna
terrible
say,
villain.
I liked him as his character. I did not like how they handled him.
I'm seeing a lot of similarities now
He should have been
between him and the High Evolutionary.
He should have been a lot tougher of a villain than what happened.
True. And I think that way of High Evolutionary, I get that they were like throwing the angle at us that he was like so consumed by wanting to get Rocket Raccoon, but
He was consumed with perfection. He only wanted Rocket to study
for
his brain.
his brain. It was kind of like one of those things, like for me, because I really saw it from the context of a D&D campaign, and they were playing an episode where we got Rocket's backstory, which was obvious, but it just seems like the campaign was exploring a player's
The meta commentary. in there.
backstory,
This was always your story. You just didn't even know it.
and it seemed to me like the DM was keeping the villain away from the team the whole time until the very end, and then he like got absolutely crushed by the team. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts. Like once they finally started fighting him, the team versus him, they whooped his butt.
It was kind of like when the Dimwits fought the Baba Yaga.
There was several rounds in that one. No, it's not similar.
It's not similar?
This was like,
So when
all
the
right,
Dimwits
roll for
fought the
initiative,
Baby
and then
Yogi?
by the end of the first round, guy dies.
Go watch our show, D&D Dungeons and Dimwits. We fought the Baby Yogi.
Baby Yogi, the Baba Yaga, and House.
Yeah, the Baba Yoga.
And Yogi. No, it was straightforward, simple. It was instantaneous, in fact. Like, they even, I think that was the point, the shock and awe of it all. That was their intention with the choreography they went with. It was like bouncing back and forth. This guy hits him, this guy hits him, this guy hits him. Gamora stabs him. Oh, Gamora stabs him.
They took longer with the hallway fight scene than they did with the and for a guy who can control gravity.
Yes. It was, to me, it just felt like the DM was trying to keep him away as long as possible until the final fight, and then he just gets crushed immediately. Because if he had introduced him into a fight with these guys earlier than that, they would have killed him, and then the movie would have been over. So there wasn't a whole lot of suspense to me. And then when she peels his face off and we see like all the gashing and whatnot, like, that didn't seem to me to feel like it had any payoff. Like, okay, we get to see this. Like, I wanted to see it, but like when I saw it, it was like, this doesn't mean anything, I guess.
It didn't have any bearing on the story itself other than showing us what Rocket did to him when he was...
but we can all assume that that's what he did to him anyways. Like, even when you see his face, like, plastered onto that head of his, we all can assume as an audience, okay, it's that way because of Rocket Raccoon. I get that. But when she peels it off of him, it's like...
So this might make me sound like an idiot, but that's not what I got from that. I thought he was so consumed with like perfection that he modified himself that I didn't think to myself, oh, that's obviously a mask because Rocket tore his face apart.
Yeah. It was a little bit handholdy in my opinion, and I didn't much care for that. I like the fact that they finally brought him down, and then I don't know, maybe he's come back. They didn't handle his ending very well. Like, Rocket Raccoon's like, no, I'm not going to kill him because I'm a guardian of the galaxy. And then we never see him again. We don't know if he lived. We don't know if he died.
He died. He was on the ship still. They just left him there. They didn't kill him.
He's coming back or something. I don't know. I can see it.
Maybe Kane, maybe one of the kings.
The way he dies, I've seen people more definitively killed than him and still come back. Darth Maul. So
different universe. You can't use that.
I said I've seen it. I don't care if it's the same universe.
Gotta use it. Gotta use it in the same universe.
I've seen other people more definitively die and still come back.
In that universe?
This is Disney. Are you forgetting we're talking about Disney?
Has it happened in the MCU?
We're talking about Disney.
Listen, I know Disney's got the habit of doing that. Has it happened in the MCU?
I will see your nonsense and raise you Disney.
You can raise Disney all you want. You still have yet to answer the question. Has it happened in the MCU?
Oh, that's the alarm. Hold on. It's something in the oven. Oh, look at that piping hot plate of Disney.
Answer the question, Kenny.
I could get some vanilla ice cream out of the freezer and we could have Disney a la mode. Oh, something is my nose. Disney! Oh, sorry. That was a big sneeze. You were saying?
That I'm right.
You are right, Disney. Anyways.
Call it in universe.
Here's a... I think you'll agree with me on it.
Probably.
And it's not that you've necessarily don't know what I'm about to talk about. You just never, I guess, contemplated this. A lot of things that make stories compelling or fun to watch are when people take on problems, take on adversaries. They go on a journey to change something, and it's usually an uphill battle. These things are oftentimes gruesome, perilous, and whoever our hero is on this journey doesn't want to be there, doesn't want to do it, because it sucks.
The reluctant hero.
Not necessarily that, but yeah, that's in the same vein. We like watching these things as an audience. Obviously, we're fine. Especially when you look at like war or fighting, and anime does this a lot too. Like, the lives that these people live suck. And they obviously go through a lot of strife. And it's cool that we can share these moments with them while we're being safe. We're in our houses. We're obviously watching through TV. And we can discuss it with our friends. And we can have our own personal little debates about who would win, this or that, and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, like, if you put yourself in their shoes, you would genuinely agree that, like, this sucks. I hate this. I don't want to take the ring to Mordor. Screw this. I don't want anything to do with this. But when you watch it, you're like, yeah, Frodo, this is so cool. Lord of the Rings, one of my favorite movies. What a really crappy situation to be in.
I inherited my uncle's house. Now I have this ring that's going to destroy the world unless I throw it into a mountain. And everyone wants to kill me for it.
So, and I swear I'm leading to something. This is going to loop back.
Okay.
So much storytelling is done from the perspective where you want to see something fun and exciting happening. Or at least from our perspectives. The characters might not be, like, enjoying what they're doing, or because problems are fun. Solving problems is fun. And it's great enjoyment from a storytelling perspective. You know what's kind of somber, what's kind of saddening, is endings. Saying goodbye. I think Guardians of the Galaxy did a really good job of closing that chapter. It sucked. No one wants to say goodbye. No one wants to say, like, oh, Star-Lord's not going to be there anymore. Oh, Gamora's no longer a member of the team, and she's never going to reconcile with that.
They did say Star-Lord will return.
Yeah, well, the legendary Star-Lord will return at the end of that. We don't know what that means entirely for the Guardians.
Accurate.
So they ended that story like it was a happy ending. And I know, like, a lot of movies will have happy endings and whatnot, but this was a happy ending where, like, they're not doing the job anymore. They're not doing the thing that we came to see. They're retiring. They're starting families. They're doing their own thing. Gamora's helping build a society that accepts everyone. Drax is going to be a dad. Yeah, you're right. Gamora went and found a new family that isn't the Guardians, and she doesn't even quite remember any of them, which is totally weird to us, but it was her happy ending. And she doesn't have to fight anymore, really. Peter went and saw his grandpa out of left field. Whatever that... That was kind of a pull, in my opinion. But it was his happy ending.
I mean, they built on that, actually.
In this movie. When you have Chekhov's gun in the third act go off, and it was introduced in the third act...
Well, I mean, it
wasn't much of a Chekhov's gun, was it?
It showed him and it showed his grandpa, anyways, and him getting abducted that night on the first movie. This is the same actor, even. So it was just a. It
seemed like a plot pull, and it wasn't much of a plot pull like they did in the Star Wars sequels, because that third movie plot pull was insane.
I'll give that one to you on that, because, like, he didn't mention his grandpa in the second one.
This is all to say that they did a really good job of putting down the sword. Yeah. Like, we're all here to see the Guardians be goofy, funny adventurers and go save the day. But they're not anymore. It's not what they're doing. They're going to go live normal lives, and no one wants to watch a movie about Gamora living a normal life, or Nebula living, or Drax being a dad. I'm not going to watch a movie about that. But they did a really compelling job of showing us that this is what they want. This is what makes them happy. They want to settle down and not live life on the edge and just die from the next adventure. They want to just live happy lives now. And that's not compelling from a storytelling point, but they did a really good job of making it compelling. I'm not going to watch Naruto the anime because he's working a 9 to 5 and he's trying to fill out paperwork and whatnot. Naruto.
I was just about to say, I think
I'm watching an anime where these guys live in a ninja village and everything is about fighting. Okay? But for them to be like, all right, now it's peace times. It's so cool. This is what... You know what would have been funny? Like, I'm almost getting the vibe of, like, credit scenes. The person's, like, talking and all of a sudden they do a freeze frame and then they show... Nebula went on to become a teacher at such and such academy. They should like we get like a
M. Night Shyamalan.
Then so like biographies of where they went on to be later on. That would have been kind of funny, but obviously it doesn't fit the motif.
I actually think that would have fit better.
I just think that Guardians of the Galaxy not only did a good somber movie, but they did a really good job of closing a chapter out. This was a good closing to a chapter.
All right. I'm going to need a break for a second, so you're going to have to carry this.
What time are we at?
Where did it go? 1:30.
Wow. Okie dokie.
It just a quick minute. I've had a lot to drink. I need to use the restroom. Please carry the show. Carry the show.
I've got this. One man army right now, right here. My time has come. I do like the new Guardians that they were introducing there at the end. Cosmo was obviously a pretty fun addition. I like that Rocket and Groot are still around. We got big old Groot too. Adam Warlock has joined the team. We have, was it Sif or Stife or whoever that Star Child was that they saved from the High Evolutionary. She's now part of the team too. I don't think I'm missing anyone from that lineup. But in comparison to the old Guardians, this new lineup is way overpowered. Drax is pretty powerful. A pretty indestructible dude. Fairly good at fighting. Brawling, I should say. But they have Adam Warlock. So, your tank versus our tank. It doesn't seem to matter. Also, Cosmo, a telekinetic dog, and he was doing some pretty impressive things. Against a lot of the previous Guardians lineup, he'd probably take a lot of them out in one fell swoop. And then we got Groot carried over. Obviously, another very powerful, potent tank. Rocket carried over. Genius. He was responsible for a lot of the technological advances of the team. And then the Star Child. We don't entirely know what her shtick was, but she had some sort of power projection, it would seem. I imagine people would take that over whatever Gamora and Nebula brought to the table, other than being like highly efficient assassins, which
I mean,
I'll give them credit for that.
Nebula
But
had the whole. I'm back, by the way.
dun dun dun.
Nebula had that whole
Tony got
back. Machine thing going on.
Yeah, but that was brought to you in part by Rocket.
I know. I had a few upgrades thanks to your little friend.
So I could see him doing that for the newer members too. I was just commenting about how powerful the new lineup of Guardians are compared to the old one.
If you put the new Guardians up against the old Guardians, I'm fairly certain that the old Guardians would be like, there's a reason why we retired.
So I knew that it was because the older ones were retiring and the new ones had to come in, but that lineup is rigged. My lord.
Well, I mean, even the guy who took over Yondu's position.
It's basically Yondu.
Yeah, it's basically Yondu. He's like, I can handle this all by myself, and he could.
Here's the deal. I kind of call it when you take Adam Warlock and you put him up against Drax. He defeats Drax. I will admit that. I honestly believe he defeats Drax. I don't think it was going to be as easy as what they depicted it in the movie, but he does. I think he soundly defeats Drax. And if he defeats Drax, I don't think there's any previous member of the Guardians that can put him down, really. Like, they could probably do some sort of, like, every member of the team versus him, trap him somewhere, and keep him in a position long enough to, like, cut his head off, maybe. But no. We have, let's say, Groot versus Groot, alright? Let's call it a tie. Cause it's
Groot versus Groot?
Because Groot's part of both teams. Rocket versus Rocket. Let's call it a tie. Alright? We have the biggest unknown is the Star Child. I don't know what this thing's about. I don't remember its name. It's like Stiff or Sif or something like that. Somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know what her power is necessarily, but if we put her against any of the other ones, she might do something. It's an unknown. Then there's Cosmo, the telekinetic dog. What is any of them going to do against that? And the people we have left in the lineup is
Call the
Peter,
ATF.
Gamora, Nebula. They might be able to shoot him, maybe, from a weird angle that he doesn't see it coming. Otherwise, he's just going to, like, rip him in half, crush him under a boulder, do something wild. That dog had an impressive set of feats throughout that movie.
Yeah, holding a ship, 2 ships together.
I easily can see that Gamora and Nebula are probably the best fighters out of everyone on both teams. But given the just sheer scale of power that the new team is bringing to the table, that combat prowess doesn't really seem to matter. There's very few times where someone's mortal prowess beats out, like, god status. Batman. So, I don't see Nebula or Gamora being on a Batman tier list against Adam Warlock's and Cosmos's, like, Superman status. I'm just not seeing it. The new guys would just beat him up. Now, I'm saying this lineup is stacked in as much as combat is concerned. But, like, in terms of espionage, thievery,
Intelligence.
swindling, whatever that acting job is called, I don't remember what, grifting. I think the old team is much better. Much better.
Well,
So,
not having powers, they have to rely on more of an adapting ability to do so. So it makes sense.
the old team seemed more multifaceted. But that's not to say that the new team can't come into that. I have no reason to say that the Star Child can't grow up and become a martial artist with whatever power she ends up inheriting that somehow deals with her energy projection. I have no reason to believe that Adam Warlock can't become a martial artist either. Whether he would want to or not is entirely up to him. So,
Could you imagine someone that powerful then becoming a martial artist?
you know, they explored that topic in One Punch Man.
I love One Punch Man.
Where Saitama tries to ask people what martial arts is, and he gets different answers and whatnot, but he never seems to get it because he doesn't understand that it's supposed to make people better at combat when he can just overpower people anyways.
Didn't he go to he went to a master, right?
He had gone to he was invited by Fang, Silver
Yes.
Fang, to go to his dojo because he really wanted him to come in for the prestige of his dojo. And Saitama said no because he couldn't find the value in it. And I think Fang did the best job of explaining to him what martial arts was about more than anyone else, because he was able to use his technique to outwit Saitama in a lot of games that he set up, like the Rochambeau with the helmet and hammer. And the time that Saitama finally beat him in Rochambeau, he was able to grab after the hammer. Obviously, Fang had already put the helmet on super fast, but then when Saitama was like screwing with the handle of the hammer trying to pick it up, and he finally got it, and then he got like murder in his eyes. He went to go hit Fang in the head, and Fang like did a flash step out of the way, and the helmet was still there, and it got crushed into the wood floor. It was pretty funny. When he entered the martial arts tournament, his takeaway from that was that martial arts is just a fun and goofy way to move your body around while you're fighting. The things that really get me going, in terms of like, especially when I explain it, are all the sub stories that King is in. Because King is like the best character in that whole show.
Because he's like shown to be like the best of everything, and it turns out he's just the worst.
He's actually
He was really good at video games.
deservedly a nobody.
Yeah.
But his poker face, which is his superpower, is so good that he can defeat anybody with it. People call it super luck. Other people think that he actually has something going on that hasn't been described yet. I disagree. I think that kills the purpose of his character if he actually ends up having a power. I think that really does defeat his character and the purpose that he's built up for. Yeah, ultimately I think it's just the poker face and his ability to keep the poker face for as long as he needs to.
His superpower is the super bluff.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like it.
He kills a guy through a heart attack out of straight fear. The situations he's put in, though, and the way that one writes him is so good, and it's hilarious. He's in a cafe, right?
Okay.
He likes to do fan fiction of dating simulator games.
All right.
And he's writing dialogue for this fan fiction he's doing. Obviously, this is something that he doesn't, he's not necessarily proud of. So he likes to dress up and try to hide himself. So he's got baseball cap on, hoodie. He's at a table. He's kind of murmuring to himself. There are villains here who tracked him down. They're hiding in spots throughout the cafe, and they're waiting to ambush him and kill him. And they're like, oh, if we can assassinate an S-rank member, we'll get notoriety. So one's sitting at the counter, the bar. One's sitting in a booth behind him. Another person's kind of scoping out the door. And the guys and he starts talking out loud. And what he's doing is he's reading aloud his dialogue that he's making.
Mm-hmm.
And would you believe it? The dialogue he's typing out right now is, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you can get away with this. But I'm telling you now, you're wrong. This isn't going to turn out the way you think it's going to. And the guys are like, no. How did he know? There's no way. And they start getting freaked out, and they psych themselves out, and then they leave. They just leave. They give up on the mission. They don't go after it. And then, but as they hurry up and get out, and they're obviously panicking, and they're sweating, and they're in their hurry, and they're running through the cafe to get out the door. King's like, what are those guys doing? What was that? Here's another funny story about King.
That's not really super bluff then. That is just kind of like a luck.
Mm-hmm. Here's another one. Atomic Samurai is going through a midlife crisis. He's seeing a lot of new guys come into the Hero Association, and they're doing really well. And he took a couple of tough losses recently, so he's trying to reevaluate himself.
Like when he fought Saitama and then got his junk punched.
Atomic Samurai, not Speed of Sound Sonic.
Oh, okay.
Atomic Samurai is oh, I know what I can do. I will go to one of the strongest guys I know, King. He should know a way to help me. And so he invites King over to this, I think it's another cafe at the time. It might be his Japanese garden. I don't entirely remember. But he invites King, and he says, King, I need help. I need to reevaluate myself. I can tell a lot about a man from the way he swings a sword. I need you to take my sword here and cut this apple in half. And King's agrees, sure, okay, I'll do that. He leans over, grabs his sword, and he goes to unsheath it, and he can't. It's too hard for King to do. He can't unsheath it from the scabbard. I'm going to say scabbard, but that's typically not what you would find a katana in. But he can't. He can't unsheath it. And he's struggling. But, his face is straight, and he's making dead eye contact with Atomic Samurai as he's doing it, but he's and then he just puts it back down. He gets up and walks away. And in his mind, he's like, oh my god, he thinks I'm a fraud. Oh my god, he thinks I'm a fraud. And Atomic Samurai's like, he cut it so fast. The apple doesn't even know it's been cut yet. He cut between the atoms. He cut it so fast that it can't possibly know it's been cut. And Atomic Samurai loses his mind. He just thinks King is so powerful that he can choose not to cut things when he cuts them. And he's like, this man is too powerful. And the whole time King was like, oh my god, he thinks I'm a fraud. Oh my god, he thinks I'm a fraud.
I love this show. One Punch Man is amazing writing. I watched it when it comes out in the dub. I watch it on Hulu. It is amazing. It really is. I enjoy it.
It's got one of the things that they did in, I think it was the webcomic. It wasn't in the there was a professional manga artist that took up one to be his artist for a second, basically, retelling of One Punch Man, because there's a webcomic done by one directly, and his art style and his story, and then this manga artist, I don't remember his name, but he kind of redraws all of his stuff, and he slightly changes the story, too, before it gets published, and then the anime is a little bit different, too. But most people follow the mangaka that the guy, the professional artist does.
Yeah.
But he changes it so slightly that it ends up it's at this point devolved into two separate stories, kind of like timelines of One Punch Man. And in the original, Saitama wasn't in the martial arts tournament, it was Garo. And Garo fought Suiryu, whatever. I don't remember his name. It sounds something like Suiryu.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know if you watched the martial arts tournament,
I did,
but it's
I
the
was
guy that
drunk,
like
so I don't
flexes and the
remember.
bands on his biceps explode.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. I can't.
That guy fights Garo instead of Saitama at the end. Well, I shouldn't say at the end. Here's where things get a little bit trippy. I think Garo, because this is people are allowed to join. It's in virtual combat instead of like live person-on-person combat. It's you stand in these kind of virtual simulators, and your movement gets duplicated onto the screen by other people, and their fight gets so intense that it like errors out, and it declares Suiryu the winner, and Garo gets kicked out, and Garo's like, whatever, it can't handle my moves, I'm too powerful.
Yeah.
And he doesn't think much of it, and Suiryu is like, okay, cool, I get to move on. The next person he fights, so here's the deal. You can enter this tournament not only by like standing in the pod and having it mimic your moves, you can play with a gaming controller. King is here.
Oh, Keen's playing.
Canonically, in canon, King is a world champion gamer.
Yeah, I do remember that.
He beats the pants off of Suiryu in this martial arts tournament. So one of the things that fans have been asking for so much is for Child Emperor to make a mech that is controlled by King.
Oh, that would be bad.
That would be so good. I could dig it. I don't want King to have too many things going on. I would like to see it like maybe in like a partial fight. I just don't want it to take away from the embodiment of what King's supposed to represent in the story. But I think it'd be really cool to see King like, oh no, there goes Child Emperor, and then like picks up a controller, hooks it up to a mech, and starts wailing on some dudes.
Give him like one wrap up hero moment. Like my skill actually comes into play and can actually help out.
Did you know that they've introduced Blast?
No.
Yeah, we've seen Blast. We know his personality and everything. He's a fleshed out character now.
Okay, elaborate.
The S tier hero rank 1, Blast.
Yeah.
He's finally showed him to us.
Oh, really?
Yep.
In the manga?
Yep.
Oh, that's why I haven't.
He's a dude that can generate portals. And he seems to be super strong. He has like super strength and he can make portals.
I can see why they would put him as rank 1 S tier.
And the person that we've been introduced to here and there in certain small quiet moments that is being referred to as God is the person he's been fighting in the background this whole time. There is a moment, kid you not, you're probably way behind because One Punch Man has gone nuclear in the manga.
Okay.
Garu becomes the avatar of God. This character named God. Okay, he's like a fifth dimensional being,
Okay.
and he might be the origin of all monster transformations all across Earth. He ends up giving his power to Garu, and Garu becomes Galactic Garu, Cosmic Garu, capable of collapsing solar systems and whatnot. He fights Saitama with this newfound power. His new fighting style is called God Slaying Fist, collapsing galaxy wave, whatever nonsense like that. Saitama isn't taking him seriously, so he finally gets pissed off. He kills Genos, wipes him out, and Saitama gets pissed.
Yeah, his only friend.
So Saitama holds on to Garo's core so that he has his friend still. And he needs to be gentle with that hand so he doesn't crush it. So he fights Garu with one arm. And beats the living heck out of this God-powered Garu. Garu's doing all kinds of things. He's like, I have the ability to mimic any power I see. And every time he tries to mimic Saitama just gets more powerful. And he's like, how do you just keep getting more powerful? If I can keep mimicking you, I can keep going powerful too. But Saitama doesn't care because he just keeps getting stronger. He's like, all right, I'm going to make a black hole. Saitama kicks the black hole away. How do you kick a black hole away? He's like, I'll make a black hole. Boom, kicks it.
He just
Nope.
straight up nopes.
Yeah. He punches Garo so hard. The punch travels backwards in time and hits him before he took on the power. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to end this then. And punches him so hard that before Garo accepts the power of being God's avatar, knocks him out.
I so want this. I want to see this in the anime.
And because he beat him in the past, it erases the current timeline. And then guess what? He casually survives the collapsing of that timeline.
Saitama does?
Yeah. Because he punches him so hard that he knocks him out in the past, which means that what's currently happening never happens. So
Dude.
the timeline gets erased, and he survives it and just exists in the current.
I totally picked up my phone and was going to start talking into it like the microphone.
That's how epic Saitama is. He knocks out his opponent in the past. He punches him so hard, it knocks him out in the past, like earlier that day. The timeline gets erased because it can't happen anymore. And it makes no sense. So the timeline collapses all around him, and he survives it. He's just like, okay, I'm here now in nothingness. And then the new timeline appears around him.
Saitama, with his one fist, flashpoints his universe.
The only thing that survives from the old timeline is Genos' core. One of the things why this is kind of funny is because people finally got to see Saitama as like the dude. Like everyone starts believing like, oh, he's actually this powerful. This is insane. Then the timeline gets erased. And everyone goes back to thinking he's just some rank C nobody. And the only person that believes in him still is Genos, because he has Genos' core from a collapsed timeline.
Oh no.
Nobody believes God. Nobody believes that Garo had the power of God except Genos. Genos is the only person that believes Saitama when he tries to tell the story of what happened.
That's
It's
amazing.
so funny. Like finally everyone gets to see him. Like everyone recognizes it. Everyone admits he's the dude. He's the only one that can do this. He needs to save the day. And when he does, the whole timeline gets erased and the new one gets generated around him. No one knows who he is anymore.
No one believes him.
He's just some nobody again.
How frustrating would that be?
Can't catch a break. Man.
Every time he uses his serious punch serious.
Serious punch.
Yeah.
It's well written and it's funny. I think one does a really good job of writing stories. One Mob Psycho was a good story. I think he does a really good job. I think he does a good job of writing stories. He does a good job of writing stories, and he does a good job of incorporating humor into it.
Yeah, we need more of that in the Western media front.
Well, after I saw, what was that Star Wars series?
Andor.
Andor. After I saw Andor,
Andor
just-
was decent.
just proved to me that it's possible.
Yeah. Andor was decent.
I saw Andor. I saw the character dialogue. I saw the interactions.
I really like
Kind of jealous.
I like the prison break scene in that one. It took a second for it to click. The whole time, the reason why the foreman, right?
Mhm.
You remember who I'm talking? The guy who played Claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schmeagol.
Schmog.
Huh?
No, that was Benedict Cumberbatch. Never mind.
Yeah, nope. Yeah, he played Schmeagol. He was
Yeah.
Gollum. So Foreman Gollum, why he was so
Foreman Gollum.
Yep, Foreman Gollum, Schmeagol. Why he was so bent on getting let go through the process of things and everything. I sat there and thought back on how he was talking to everyone. Never once was he like, "We're getting out of here." I'm getting out of here, things like that. When during the whole prison break, he kept saying, "You have to go. You're getting out of here. You're doing this. You're doing that." And then when they get to the door, he's just standing there. They're like, "What?" He's like, "I can't swim." It was never about me. I can't swim. It was a
good.
good moment.
I don't think it was a decent show. I think it was a good show. It was really good. And it proves to me that they're capable of doing it. They're capable of not doing what they did with
Not littering
Boba
it. Not littering it with contrivances and politics.
Andor just proves to me that they're capable of doing good work, and I'm not seeing it with characters that I love. Which is super frustrating.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, they really should have just expanded rather than trying to deconstruct. Speaking of deconstruction,
It's time to put this thing to bed.
yeah, we are at 157.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Off the Rails.
Episode 14,
I've been your host, Kenny. I'm here with
Taylor.
who has barely spoken at all.
Shush You. And you are?
I'm Tony. I was the one here pushing all the buttons. Remember, everyone, go to all of our social medias. That would be the TikTok. I think that we're able to start streaming live to TikTok again now. Twitter at Your Move Studios. The Rumble. Check us out. Your Move Studios there. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell on the YouTubes, all that great stuff. Thank you, everyone, for joining in on this conversation, and those of you who commented on it. We love you guys. We appreciate it. Remember, go watch Guardians of the Galaxy #3. And as always,
It's Your Move, Internet.